Well, I hope you're ready for some unindoctrination. Thank you very much. Thank all of you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. It's late night in the heartland. How is everybody? Oh, yeah. It's a lot more people than a Joe Biden rally. Better than Obama. Oh, everybody sit down. Obama today only has 300 people. That's crazy. This thing's over if we just go out and do our due duty, do our due diligence, do our due. All we got to do is do our due. And this baby is done, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll get into that tonight. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, straight out the heartland for you. We're coming to you wall to wall and treetop tall. Tonight, we've got a little topic to cover, why Christianity is more dangerous than Antifa, why Christianity is more dangerous than BLM, why Christianity is more dangerous than Antifa and BLM combined. And we'll have open lines to follow. Please don't call until I do open the lines. And because we want to give you the most time for your call, well, let us do real quickly. Let me let you know about C60 Purple Power. It is the only supplement that I take. You can go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the logo. It works on your cells from the mitochondria level. It helps them be stronger. It helps them be more resistant to electromagnetic frequencies, more resistant to viruses. It is making you better from the cellular level up. It's great for dogs, great for people. And I encourage you to go to jeffreydaugherty.com and take a look at C60 Purple Power. There's a great discount built in there for you. So let's go right into our subject so we can get right into the calls. And we're going to talk very briefly today about how, and I know this doesn't seem possible, how Christianity is more dangerous than Antifa and BLM combined. I know it's very, very, very hard for you people to understand this. And I don't say you people in a derogatory term, but some of you people I do, but you know who you are. But let's go ahead and take a look at this, folks. Pat Robertson made it very, very clear. And in a recent video that was sent to me by Tracy Dyer, Pat Robertson, you see how this works, right? It's either Cynthia or Tracy sending me the good stuff, and I'm just up here being the reporter, and I'm fine with that. But in a recent video, Pat Robertson of the 700 Club, you know who he is, and CBN, which is Christian Broadcasting Network fame, he made it crystal clear to us why Christianity is far more dangerous than Antifa and BLM combined. And what seems like an outlandish statement is thoroughly proven by the objective evidence. And if you're in a place where you can still think objectively, the truth of what you see will leap off this screen for you and smack you right in the face. I understand there's a conspiracy between Cynthia and Tracy going on to get me good information, and that's okay. I don't care. Whatever's clever, whatever works, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're all about, is whatever works. So let me get you dialed into this thing about Pat Robertson, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to show you this video of Pat Robertson. It's a pretty brief video. I think it's just less than a minute. And the headline on it is Pat Robertson reports that he's been told by God. Don't you love these people that God talks to? In fact, he said he's been told by the Father. So it's a special entity that talks to Pat Robertson. The Father has told Pat Robertson that President Trump will win re-election and that it will bring about the beginning of what Pat Robertson and Pat Robertson's God call the end time. So this should be a lot of fun, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to roll this for you so you can hear Pat Robertson. And this is proof positive in my mind that Christianity is more dangerous than Antifa and BLM combined. So let's listen to Crazy Pat here for about 56 seconds. And I guess I shouldn't say Crazy Pat, but we'll listen to Pat for about 56 seconds, and then we'll break down what he has to say. So with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here's Pat Robertson, used by fair use for commentary and educational purposes. from cbnnews.com, and here we go.
Going to be a war. Ezekiel 38 is going to be the next thing down the line. Then a time of peace. Then maybe the end. But nobody knows the day or the hour when the Lord's going to come back. He said the angels don't know it, and only the Father knows it. So I'm not saying this is the second coming, but I am saying there are things that people have thought would be during a millennial time with the coming of Jesus that are going to happen in our lifetime. And the next thing is the election that's coming up in just a few weeks, at which time, according to what I believe the Lord told me, the president is going to be reelected. I'm saying by all means, get out and vote for whoever you want to vote for, but by all means, let your voice be heard. But it's going to lead to civil unrest of a great proportion, then a war against Israel, and so forth and so on.
So that's Pat Robertson, and am I the only one that's thinking, damn, Pat is old as shit? Wow, Pat's old. And you know, I'm just gonna say this. I've never seen Elizabeth Warren and Pat Robertson in the same room. I'm just saying. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at this video. And you know, this is what it looked like. Of course, we're gonna break it down. And Pat Robertson is old as shit. That's all I got to say about that. Then he says there's going to be a war. Ezekiel 38 is next. Well, Ezekiel 38 is the scary children's story, scary Bible story about Gog and Magog. And the real point is, however, that you heard not once but twice within this 56-second interview or presentation by Pat Robertson that he was predicting civil unrest. He was predicting a global war, and he was then predicting that global war would be followed by the return of Jesus. So Robertson predicting global civil unrest, then a global war, followed by the return of Jesus. He says the president is going to be reelected. Someone in the chat room says that he's a Zionist. Well, that's true. And this is also true. When they admit that the president's going to be reelected, the globalists have surrendered. I showed you 2 nights ago, the globalists have divulged the Trump role in globalism, and they have admitted that Donald Trump in just 3.5 years has brought globalism to a halt. So anyone that tells you not to vote for Donald Trump is a proponent of globalism. And we showed you last night that anyone who tells you not to vote for Donald Trump is also a proponent of Marxism and communism. And that's just the way it is. So what he said was it's going to lead to civil disobedience, the reelection of President Trump, and it's going to lead to civil disobedience of great proportions, and then a war against Israel. So what Pat Robertson and what many Christians are predicting is civil war within the United States, followed by a war which will bring in the return of Jesus. So Christians, and it's not just Pat Robertson, any of your YouTube gurus on TV on YouTube are telling you that there's going to be great trouble, great collapse. Everything's going to be terrible. There's going to be wars and rumors of wars. That's what civil unrest is. Then they tell you there's going to be a world war, Gog, Magog, Armageddon, same thing, just a different terminology. And then it's going to be followed by the return of Jesus. That's what they want you to believe. I find it very interesting that Antifa and BLM are predicting the same things. Exactly. Antifa and BLM are predicting and preparing for civil unrest, just like Pat Robertson, just like the Christians. The Christians, BLM, and Antifa are preparing for the same things, civil unrest, and they are preparing and trying to start a global communist war and revolt against Western ideas. The Antifas are trying to do it. The BLMers are trying to do it. The Christians are trying to do it. All three of them are trying to do the same thing. Christianity is predicting and preparing for civil unrest and a global war and revolt, just like Antifa, just like BLM. So these facts alone, folks, prove that Christianity is as dangerous as Antifa, as dangerous as BLM, is as dangerous as both of them combined, in my opinion, and it has the very same goals. Think about that. Think about that. Christianity has the same goals as Antifa: civil unrest, global war, takeover by one world ruler of their choice. Christianity has the same goals as Antifa and BLM. And if you were to examine their origins, who started Antifa, who funds Antifa, who started BLM, who funds BLM, the same people that started Christianity, that wrote Christianity, that Christianity was born out of, the same people fund Christianity, fund Antifa, fund BLM, and fund Christianity. The same people. Well, Jeff, you said that Christianity was more dangerous than Antifa and BLM. So far, you've only proven that it is just as dangerous. Okay, so here's why Christianity is more dangerous than Antifa and BLM. We've demonstrated that Christianity, Antifa, and BLM have the same goals and have a common origin. We'll now show why it's even more dangerous than the other two. Not only are Christians predicting civil unrest, just like BLM, just like Antifa, not only are they predicting global war, just like BLM, just like Antifa, they are praying for it. They want it. They're praying for it. He who testifies to these things, yes, I'm coming soon. Amen. Come, Lord Jesus. When Christians pray and plead, come, Lord Jesus, they're praying, come, civil disobedience. They're praying, come, World War III. They're praying, come, Lord Jesus. That's Revelation 22:20, by the way. So they are using all of their collective intention to bring on civil disobedience. They are using all of their manifest intention to bring on world war. They are using all of their manifest intention to bring on a worldwide war. They're praying for it. They're fasting for it. They're demanding it. Jameis says they don't even know it. They may not have thought of it, but they are actually using all their intention. And the Antifas and the BLMers, the run-of-the-mill ones, they don't know that stuff. They're not using the same intensity. They're not using the same intention. They're not using the same magic that the Christians are using. And not all Antifa people, not all BLM people use blood magic, but every single Christian does use blood magic. How can you say that? What is it that saves you? The blood of Jesus. Oh, the blood of Jesus saves me. What is it that gives you that power? And the blood that gives me strength from day to day, it will never lose its power. Christianity is a blood religion. It's blood over intent. It's blood and intention. That's why it's more dangerous than Antifa. That's why it's more dangerous than BLM, because it's got more juice, it's got more intention, it's got more power behind it. But wait, there's more. Wait, there's more. Their origins, their goals, their manifestations are the same, only the manifestations are much more powerful. Christianity is more powerful because Christianity is universally praised and defended as the modern keepers of morality and virtue. Christianity preaches the same message of hate and war as Antifa. Christianity preaches the same message of hate and war as BLM, but they get to preach it from the lofty heights of supposed moral superiority. And by so doing, people that can correctly identify that Antifa is evil, people that can correctly identify that BLM is evil, cannot correctly or will not correctly identify that Christianity, preaching, teaching, and using blood magic to bring in the same things, legitimizes that hate that Antifa and BLM preach, legitimizes the violence of Antifa and BLM, and legitimizes the bloodshed of Antifa and BLM. Christianity is more dangerous because it legitimizes the hate and the bloodshed of its brother movements. That's why Christianity is more dangerous than BLM. That's why Christianity is more dangerous than Antifa. And it's my job to diagnose it, and it's my job to say it. Christians have the exact same agenda as Antifa and BLM. They have the exact same origins as Antifa and BLM, and they're using their combined powers of manifestation to bring about exactly the same things that Antifa and BLM want to bring about, and they use their lofty platform of moral superiority and virtue to legitimize the destruction of America and the enslavement of the world to Marxist communism. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, without any fear of contradiction, I can confidently declare to you, didactic, because you're not, because you're a baby and you're a fraud and you're a phony and you're a fool and you won't pick up the phone and call. All of a sudden, I'm bashing Christians because I'm telling you the truth. This is why Christianity is more dangerous than Antifa and BLM combined. And you got these people in here. Oh, he's wrong. He is a devil, and he's bashing Christians, and he's full of hate. Well, you're full of nothing, because I'm about to open up the phone lines, and not one of you limp dick individuals will call in. Watch, they won't call, even though I invite them to call. And as soon as we get through reading this slide, the phone lines will be open. Critics and dissenters are welcome and encouraged to call. You must be polite. You must be interesting. When you call and you hear the message, welcome to the Christian Whistleblower, press 0. If you call and you hear music, that means you're on hold, and I'll get to you as soon as possible. It's 913-279-0831. It's 913-279-0831. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I, Jeffrey Daugherty, the most accessible individual on YouTube, will open up the phone lines and invite any and everyone to call in and make their self known. If you love me, call in and tell me why. And even though that's really interesting to me, it's not interesting to some of the others. So try to have something beyond just how much you love me, even though I'm glad you do. And also you got to be polite. If you're interested, if you love me, call in. If you don't love me, call in. If you agree with me, call in. If you don't agree with me, call in. But make sure that when you realize you're entering into the realm and the exchange of ideas. So don't think that you're going to come in and be able to pop off and not get popped back. All right? It'll be respectful. It'll be courteous as much as you allow me to do it. So the phone lines are open. It's 913-279-0831. The PayPal, SuperPal chat is also open. I'm demonetized. That's why I can't do Super Chat. And besides, Super Chat also takes half of the money. So we created the Super Pal chat. Just go to paypal.me/Jeffrey Daugherty as you see it on the screen, and your call will be to the front if you put your phone number in along with your donation, ladies and gentlemen. 50 Cent said he doesn't want Joe Biden because he doesn't want it to be turned into 20 Cent. So you cannot, from this second on, troll in the chat room. You can't disagree in the chat room. You can state a disagreement once. You can't state it more than once. But you are welcome to call in and have your say, ladies and gentlemen. You're willing to call in and have your say. And while we're waiting for a caller, you know, we have these people that they're just too woke to vote. We have these people that are just much too high in their ascension to vote. We have these people that they're just too good to vote. They're better than us, and they don't want to vote because they think that they can sit on their sanctimonious asses and that somehow the fluffy bunnies and the unicorns are going to make everything fine. And they think they're too good for us to vote. And for those of you that feel that, I got something for you. For those of you that feel that way, I got something for you. I want you to see this, and I hope it makes you feel like the dumbest person on the planet. I hope this makes you feel the way it should make you feel, because this is a video that was made about a gentleman who had a debilitating disease. And all he wanted to do, he had two dying wishes. He wanted to talk to the president of the United States, and he wanted to be able to vote for the president. And I don't know if I'll be able to get through this without becoming emotional, but to all of you people that think you're too woke to vote and it's too hard to vote, it's you got too much going on, you can't do it, you don't want to waste your time, you're far too important, you're far too enlightened. I want you to listen to this right here, ladies and gentlemen, not only about how amazing it is that this took place, but what this man was facing, and all he wanted to do was vote, exercise his divine right that many people's blood have prepared for you. And you're going to have to wait until after this video now. I want you to hear this. It's a little bit of a longish video. We're going to listen to almost 4 minutes of it because it's just that powerful.
Crazy. Did I just talk to the President of the United States on the phone?
President Donald Trump for you.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Hold on 1 minute.
All right, sounds good.
He's suffering from cystic fibrosis. His lungs are failing.
Hello?
Holy Christ, what did I get to do?
All right, Jay. You
Hey.
look handsome to me. I just saw a picture of you.
No, you're giving me fine honors. I look like
How are you doing? How's it going, Jay?
it's going, you know what I mean? I don't know,
You're a champ. You're gonna
That's-
fight it, right? You just fight it?
it's what the Irish do, right?
Yeah, that's what the Irish do. You better believe it. You look,
Yeah.
you look good. I wish you could come to a rally. I wish you could come. I know you like that stuff, but I wish you could.
Well, listen, hey,
Sounds like you have a great sister, Jay.
well, you know, like civil, we have civil and rivalries, fights, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, if you could pencil me in, I'll find a way to get there.
I'll tell you what, when I'm up around that territory, and I know where you live, I know it well. When I'm
Yeah.
up around that territory where you'll be sitting front row center, Jay.
All right, well, I plan on coming down to DC between now and my expiration date. So, whatever. Either way.
Don't even talk about expiration dates.
Oh, no, I'm not. No.
You'll be surprised, you know, I know my people. You're gonna be surprised. I just sent you a little note too. I wrote out a little note. So I guess we sent it to your sister or whatever, but you'll get that. But I read a beautiful story about you, and I just said I want to call that man. That's my kind of guy.
Yeah. Mr. President, I through thick and thin, you know, there's been a lot of thicks.
Right,
There's been a lot of thins.
right.
I support you.
Wow, that's beautiful, man. We love you, Jay. We love you, man. And that's really beautiful. What you just said is, I won't forget it. I won't forget it. And what we'll do is you just hang tough. A lot of good things are happening, too. Don't kid yourself. A lot of good things are happening in terms of the medical stuff.
Yeah.
So you just hang tough. You're gonna surprise. We'll be talking in 10 years from now, I hope, too.
Oh, like I said, you know, I plan on voting for you in 2020. So.
You better vote for me in 220, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
If you don't vote for me, I'm going to be upset with you.
No, I'll make sure I do that. You know,
That's
God permitting.
So
And
we'll be in touch. We're sending you a little note, but we'll be in touch.
okay.
And thank your sister. And
I
if we
will.
do anything up there, I want to get you over there. I'll get you up to that rally. I'll have you right in the center, right smack in the middle. You're my
All right.
kind of guy. You're my kind of man, Jay.
Yeah, I try to
You're
be.
the man. And
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you. And say hello to your family and sister and everybody. And I'll talk to you again, Jay, okay?
All right, thank you very much.
You keep that fight going. We both fight, okay? You keep that going, okay?
I will do my end. Thank you for calling and
It's an honor.
thank you. No, it's an honor for me too as well.
Thanks, Jay.
Have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye.
So to all of you that are way too important to vote, to all of you that are, have way too much going on to vote, here's a man that unfortunately he lost his battle. and he won't get to vote in 2020 because he lost his battle. He's no longer with us here alive, and he lost his battle. And when you decide that you're not going to vote, I want you to think of Jay. All he wanted to do was vote for his great president, and he didn't get to do it because he fought valiantly and cystic fibrosis took his life. So if you decide that you're going to sit home and not vote, I want you to think of Jay, and I want you to think of looking Jay right in the face and telling him why you won't vote. And the next time you open your mouth to disparage the great president of the United States, I want you to remember that call. And I want you to remember the man that you are trashing. The man that's got $10 billion and put it aside to save your country. And you are actually contemplating not even getting off your lazy ass and voting. I want you to think of that man, and I want you to remember that man. Both of those men. You can either join them and be a great man like they are, or you can dishonor them, dishonor yourself, and earn a place in infamy with all of the losers and the trolls and the insignificants that got trod under when men and women of valor and honor took back a nation. You decide who you are. I know who I am, and I hope that you're better than what you've been manifesting. It's late night in the heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeffrey, this is Super Galactic.
Hey, man, how are you? So glad to call. I'm honored that you called. I love seeing you in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us.
I'm doing real good. I got a question for you.
Well, hit it,
man.
man.
You had Magenta Pixley on your YouTube channel where she talks about the Council of Nine. Do you think that the Council of Nine is us from the future?
It doesn't really matter what I think about the Council of Nine. The reason why I have Magenta on, I don't really like channelers, but Magenta has explained, and this has been a long time since I've had her. I don't know what she's doing recently, but Magenta has explained to me personally and in her books that the Divine Council of Nine, or the Winged White Council of Nine, whatever she calls them, she believes that they are manifested pieces of her personality from the future. So she believes that she's hearing from her in the future. I believe that Magenta believes what she believes, and I believe she does get some good information. So what she thinks, my friend, is that it is her talking to her from the future or from another time and plane.
Do you think that what she's talking about, other people can tap into that as well?
Absolutely. I think every one of us can and should, and every one of us, it should be natural that we do that. We should all be able to talk to ourselves across dimensionality. I can do that. And we should be able to talk to ourselves across time and space as well, I think. I think we should be able to leverage all of the manifestations of us in all of the other places where we are manifested. So, yes, I do.
Well, you know, I've heard people say they are us and we are them.
Yep. What do you think? Do you think it's possible?
I was watching, this is before I found out about Magenta Pixley, but I was watching the History Channel where they were doing hypnosis about people's encounter with UFOs. And when they was doing this guy's hypnosis, he was talking about they are us and we are them. And then when I started listening to Magenta Pixley, that's the first thing that popped up in my mind. I don't know why that was, but that was. And I got to thinking maybe the Council of Nine is just trying to get us to realize that we need to tap into our higher self. They could be the ones flying across the sky with the UFOs. We don't know.
I think that you're 100% right. And I think that it is actually manifestations of ourselves, and it explains aliens, it explains ETs, it explains a lot of these things. And that's why I need to reach back out to Magenta. She talks a different language than I talk. but we pretty much say the same type of things. And I think that you are very scholarly in intent to be able to look at that and pick it up and to be able to allow yourself to go there, because not many people have the bravery to go where you have gone. And we appreciate you sharing it with us, because it is, and somebody in the chat room says, this man is woke, and you really are. You've got it going on, and I appreciate you calling.
Thank you, Jeff. You keep up the good work.
I will, and don't hesitate to call me back. I would love to hear from you anytime.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. That's a great call. That's a great person. And boy, to think that I can, and please don't put people's names in the chat room just randomly. To think that I can help these type of people is amazing to me. It's late night in the heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. Thank you for calling.
Yes.
How are you?
Oh, good. This is William Callie. I'm a longtime viewer.
Yes, sir. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, I just noticed something in the Bible that doesn't get mentioned much, but it deals with, God said, "Thou shalt not kill."
Right.
And that could also be interpreted, "Thou shalt not murder." But there's two passages where he actually murders his own people just for complaining.
Yes, there are.
And to me, that makes them worse. See, 99.99% of the people on the planet don't murder people, kill people just for complaining.
What does that say about this God of this Bible that so many people are worshiping?
That's not, I don't think that's, first of all, if that is a God, he's pretty terrible.
Absolutely, 100%. These are some of the reasons why I became the Christian Whistleblower.
Right.
Because people need to hear these things, and then people need to understand these things. And the God of the Bible is a murderer.
And I posted this on Facebook. See, I grew up in a Christian home and went to a Christian school. And some of my friends on Facebook, or even some of my teachers, are from my Christian school way back when. And I presented this, it's in Numbers 11. It says, when the people complained, it displeased the Lord, and the Lord heard it. He doesn't hear our prayers, but he heard this.
Isn't that something?
And it says his anger was kindled. So this people just complaining. And it made them so mad, the fire of the Lord burnt among them and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp. It's ridiculous.
I wouldn't even want to have a girlfriend that had that kind of anger, much less a God.
That's what I'm saying. And 99.9, almost everyone that has ever lived and died on this planet do not kill people simply for complaining.
That shows you what a low, terrible entity that the God of the Bible is.
God. They think that that's a good God. I think they're delusioned or whatever. I don't know.
On several times
to keep them from learning anything.
In several occasions, he told people to go and kill babies, children, rip children from their mother's womb, smash their head on rocks, kill all the boys, kill all the girls, kill all the women, but you can keep the cute ones if you want, if they're virgins. This is what the God of the Bible tells people, and this is what I am here to tell people is, hey, look, I know you love your Bible, but you also need to know that this God does these things. So before you decide to give your life to him, you might want all of the information. Do you have any other good information for us? This is a great call.
Well, there's another passage along the same lines where it's a little bit more known, where they're in the desert. So both of these passages take place when they're in the desert. That's where God does a lot of his killing.
Yep.
Like the outskirts of Vegas. The mob, they take them out to the desert where people can't see them.
Oh, that's a great point. So it's like it was the mob then, like it's the mob now.
Yeah, he could have just took them right out of Egypt up along the water line, straight up into Palestine. But he took them out to the desert to kill a few, and put the fear of God in them.
Yep, he's a terrible, rotten entity. The God of the Bible is a filthy, rotten entity, and that's why we need to defeat him. And I think we already have. We're just going to enforce that victory. Yeah. Thanks for the call. I really appreciate it. Please do call again.
Okay, Jeffrey. Keep up the good work.
Hey, thank you, my friend, and thanks for the good call. That's a great call. It's great to have great people calling in. And remember, you got to have the balls to make the calls. You can't troll the chat room. It is late night in the heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. Please turn down your device and tell us what's on your mind.
Yeah, hey, Jeffrey, it is Harry Christie. I'm going to make it short and sweet.
Okay, Harry, great to hear you.
Yeah, when I saw Pat Robertson on that clip you played, I realized, man, he is due for a dose of adrenochrome.
Yeah, he's running low on his adrenochrome, man. He is running low on his adrenochrome.
Yeah, I mean, you make that statement that the Christians of today are Antifas and all these other left-wing. I mean, these right-wingers are no different. They're extreme. It looks like the Christian community are what I would consider the NPCs of the world today.
That's a great point. The Christians of today are the NPCs. They are.
Yeah. So, I had a long conversation with one of your mods. We did a Zoom conversation. I'm not going to name him because he may not want me to say who it was. But we had a long conversation. We talked about the types of entities that live on this world today. And we kind of broke it down between, okay, we have the source, we have the false gods, we have man, which is Adam and Eve, we have the hybrids, which were like, let's say, the Nephilim, and then we may have, and I'm going to, maybe step on your toe here.
Okay.
We have the Atlanteans, who could be the seafaring people from outside of the Pillars of Hercules or outside the ice wall.
Mm-hmm.
So those four entities, we look at man, who was created maybe by a false god, right? Because he was formed from the dust of the earth.
I hear what you're saying, but originally we were created by, I think, the creators as spirit, and that second recreation from the dust was by a false god. An NPC, Kirsten's asking what an NPC is. Will you explain that real quick?
A non-player character, non-person character. So someone with no divine spark in them.
Right. Like Derek Bros.
Yeah. There you go.
Like Roy Potter.
Good examples. So, like I said, I'm not going to continue and belabor the point, but looking at Pat, you got to know that he's doing the plausible deniability route. He's causing the extreme right to want to arm themselves, and they did this in the past. They would have the woman shown on like Facebook holding in one hand, she's got the Bible, in the other hand she's got the M16. So it's a call to arms to create this polarization so that everyone wants to fight one another. And then you look at from the political side, you look at the politicians, of course, but then you look at the media side. Remember, Anderson Cooper was always polarizing people as well.
Dude, Anderson Cooper may not be an actual human. I think he is an NPC.
For sure. You look at his bloodline. You look at the his mom was the Gloria Vanderbilt.
Yep.
The Vanderbilt family. You saw the blood sacrifice in that family, with the older brother being,
Tracy thinks that, and I think I'm quoting her accurately. I think Tracy thinks that Anderson was present for the sacrifice of his brother, and that's one of the reasons why he's so traumatized.
I do believe the same thing. I think he didn't fall off that building. I think he was pushed off.
And I think they probably, the mom, and we're speculating, this is entertainment purposes only. I think Gloria Vanderbilt made Anderson push his brother off.
Yeah, well, they were followers of Set, which is you know, like a satanic type entity. Let's look at other pastors, kind of like Pat Robertson. Look at Rick Warren. Rick Warren here in California. I mean, I went to his church for 3 years. His son also passed away.
Isn't that amazing?
You know? Yeah, and then Greg Laurie, another pastor here in Riverside County, California. He had a son also died early. So
isn't that amazing? Joe Biden had children and a spouse die too.
Yeah. So again, speculation, but there's a lot of like threads going through these people of how they get to these levels of power, levels of popularity, mega churches, all that, and how their voices are heard by the multitudes of this preaching, and they just polarize us to think it's us against the Muslims, us against the Jews, us against them, because our religion's right. And I'm so glad I've been removed. And like I said, when I first saw your channel back in 2017, 16, I turned you off so fast.
A lot of people have.
Something always brought me back, and then it helped me to kind of realize all this stuff. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out. And
Harry, let me throw this at you. I never thought about this. Somebody said, and because of Anderson Cooper and his sexual preference and what he represents, Anderson Cooper, Anderson Pooper.
There you go. Hey, I'll let you go so someone else can get on the line.
Harry, great call. Thanks so much for calling in. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, sure thing.
That's a smart fella right there. He always sends me a lot of very interesting stuff. And, you know, I'll eat the meat and I'll throw out the bones. But he sends me great stuff. Nigel sends me great stuff. I know Nigel and Harry want me to do a show on everything they send me. That's not going to happen, fellas. But keep sending me it because, you know, enough times it does. It's Late Night in the Heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Yes. Hey, Mr. Daugherty, this is Mr. Kilwell, and hey, I hope you're doing all right. Congratulations on your 30-day fast, and I just please bear with me for this is my most important call to you.
The floor is yours.
I have 10 points, okay, and I want to hit them fast and hard.
Okay.
So I won't put the time.
I'm gonna take notes.
Since I just want to say, since my discovery of flat Earth, I question what exactly dreams, avatars, and out-of-body experiences are because of unknown continents.
Mm-hmm.
2, history may be 5,000 years of programming. That equals mind control, which equals government. You know, Pangea explained in the textbooks. It's not jiving with me. Pangea is maybe totally false. It may fit in the script. Next one is diametrics. And I've been really thinking about the diametrics and what you've said and the pre-72 diametrics. And it may be the most dangerous thing for the New World Order because it breaks yourself from Ingrams. Okay.
Yes.
And Ingrams, and from listening to you, Ingrams, you know, the mental, emotional connections with what I'm saying is this. Okay, give me a chance.
Take your time.
I had a dream, okay? 4 years ago, I'll never forget this dream of a conglomerate of consciousnesses. Okay, yes, I said consciousnesses.
Mm-hmm.
It was a black, ugly glob with an ugly hand, and it just had like different body parts coming out of it, heads, eyes. It was disgusting. And I come to realize after listening to you that is what a tulpa looks like.
Oh, that's great.
You know, it was scary. Miss Daugherty, it was the most scariest dream. I didn't know what it was at the time. I thought it was the devil, but it was actually a tulpa, a conglomerate of consciousnesses. And
that's exactly what a tulpa is.
And if it was like a grotesque board, and with Dianetics, if you break from that, you're free.
Yeah, indeed.
And so the second thing I want to say is not second. I'm going down my list.
I think you're at 4.
Thanks. I want to ask you, how far back do Ingrams go? Because if I'm affected by, if I'm pop out of my mom's belly at birth and she yells at me because I dropped something, and my dad yells at me because I dropped something or done something, and they are affected. It is because of their Ingrams, which was an effect of their parents' Ingrams, and on and on and on and on and on and on and back.
How far back do they go? All the way back. And you're right.
Wow, that's incredible. You know, and so I've been studying what you said about diametrics and Ingrams, and it just said, wow, how far back? It just goes on back, and you really have to break yourself out of that, because if not, you're just going along the train.
And you know what just hit me? When you do break yourself out of it, you're freeing your descendants from it as well.
Oh, wow, that's powerful.
It is.
That's like I said, this is my most important phone call to you.
All right, hit me with number 5.
Okay. Please in your further presentations, if you can explain the attitudes and the Our Father who art in heaven prayer.
Okay.
Have you listened to Iron Republic audiobook by Morgal, which was written in 1901? It's about a continent outside of what we know of, and is a really high 1901.
I did read it, but I need to read it again because I kind of skimmed it.
Okay, and last two, if you, my request is if you can please interview David Goggins. He says, hey, be savage. You know, just say fuck them.
Okay,
that's his quote.
Yeah,
fuck them. What they say, what they think. You do you, and he's really powerful, really good guy. You know,
I'll invite him.
David Goggins.
I will invite him. I'll look for him tonight after the show while I'm winding down.
And lastly, I want to hear why, and I'm disappointed with the callers in the previous call-in that you had today, why you said, and they didn't ask, they just skipped over it. I don't know why. Bill Barr is gone in April. I want to hear why.
I think he'll be gone by spring. He should have been gone already, but now I think because I think that he is complicit. He's been around since Dirt's been around. I think he's a deep stater. I think Trump gave him a chance to come over to be a part of the solution, and he still wants to be part of the problem. I think he's holding President Trump back. I think he's helping keep the deep state from the swamp from being drained. And I think we need some fresh blood in there. I'd love to see Ted Cruz or Rudy Giuliani or maybe even Chris Christie as Attorney General. I want effective, badass, prosecutorially minded. I want somebody just like Donald Trump with the zeal and the fire for this country as Attorney General, and not another deep state bureaucrat.
Well, hey, I appreciate it. And hey, Mr. Daugherty, I appreciate everything you do and what you do, and hope you can keep my questions in mind. I written them down so I can kick them off real quick and get off the phone.
All right, Mr. Ackett-Will, I appreciate you. A great call, and feel free to call in anytime.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Yeah, I know some of those names might not have been exactly right, like Ted Cruz and them, but I want somebody like that, somebody like that. Blue Bloods, don't be nasty. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Yeah, Jeffrey, my name is Mike. I called in a couple of days ago and gave you a link to a PDF about the CDC admitting they never had an isolated.
Yes, and I saw that reported on, I think, Epoch Times today also put that in.
Yeah, they did put it in. Here's another one. You got to write this down.
I got
This
it.
is on viruses. It's called, the title of the YouTube video is Discussion with Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, October 20th, 2020.
I've seen that.
Have you seen it? She's talking to Dr. Kerry Maggi.
Yep.
Okay, you already seen it. Yeah, this hydrogel stuff is really bad stuff, brother.
It is terrible stuff, and I'm so glad that there's a lot of doctors that are finally starting to speak out.
Yeah, well, they also know that they're putting their careers in jeopardy too.
They do. So they're very brave people, and I salute them. I salute them, and I'm glad that there's you're one of the great independent journalists out there, investigative journalists, and I hope that you keep going where no man has gone before and keep sniffing it out, because we need to know it.
Right. I went to your website and I got a couple of your videos too, but I tried to email you today, and the email came back on it wasn't any good off your website.
Yeah, I get tons and tons of emails off there, so maybe there's something they didn't like about your domain or something. But try it again, or just send it to, I'll put it in the chat room, Gotham like in Batman LTD @gmail.com. That's just my personal mail. I just put it in the chat room.
Okay, put it in the chat room, because that's not the one that's on your website. Says Jeffrey.Daugherty, and then some other number.
Yeah, that's it. So go ahead and send it to the Gotham one, and that should be straight. And I'll check that on the website and make sure it's accurate. Okay,
one last thing. I'd love to email you some too, because I'm definitely our opinions on Christ and whatnot would be totally.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. See, I was born again in 1954 by the Spirit of the Lord Himself.
Interesting.
It was a little trip, and my wife witnessed it. And when the Spirit of the Lord came into the trailer, I hadn't, I wasn't going to church, wasn't reading Bibles, I was born and baptized Catholic. But when the Spirit of the Lord came in the trailer, I found out that my soul, every soul looks for that, and only He can give that, and He gave it. There's a blessing beyond anything I was definitely not worthy of any of it, and He spoke through me to my wife. It was me speaking, but I was repeating what I was hearing in my head. He said my whole life had been meant to be. I was exactly where I was supposed to be. That I could have done nothing different, and that all I had to do was follow Him. About 20 seconds, besides the couple of minutes of total tears that I couldn't even speak in the beginning. But anyway, that's it changed my life. It took me from a snap from the flesh to the spirit. And I know you have other, I've heard some of yours, but I'd love to discuss, because that's one thing I like about you. You're willing to listen.
Absolutely.
other people that you shut your head off. You know, so, oh yeah, that's nice. I've been to hundreds of Christian churches you took me to, and it's like.
Well, go ahead and send that to me. I'll look forward to reading it, and I'll look forward to your next call.
Okay, great. Great job, Jeff.
Take care, my friend. I appreciate that. Boy, we're on a roll tonight with the calls. They're amazing. This is exactly how they're supposed to be. This is exactly how they're supposed to be. Call in, be interesting. You don't have to like me. You don't have to believe me. Just don't troll my chat room. Don't randomly put in, sites and names, because, those things we've worked hard to build a channel, and for people to be promoted on this channel, they should have to, help promote me or, give some remuneration. It's late night in the heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Jeff, I know I don't have to like you, but I do anyway.
All right. What's up, Brandon?
Well, I wanted to give a call in.
Guess what I'm doing tomorrow night? This is a good time to share this. Tomorrow night, what I'm going to do, and I've written Rex to offer him the chance to do this on his channel too. Ever since before Donald Trump was elected, I've been the pro-Trump guy, and every single prediction I've made regarding Trump has come true 100%. And tomorrow night, what we're going to, we'll have just a theme for the show. It doesn't have to be this, but tomorrow night, I want everybody that has any concern, any question, any worry with Donald Trump to call in, no holds barred, and tell me your worry, tell me your concern, and I will give you a fact and data-based answer to your concerns about Donald Trump. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow night. What's on your mind tonight, Brandon?
Nice. I was going to say, have you seen that video going around about the election official in Maryland?
I just barely saw it, but I didn't even read it. Tell me what it says, please.
Well, basically in the video, it shows this poll worker that is dealing with ballots, and he takes a ballot, and then the live camera that's on him, the guy turns around and looks around to see if anybody's watching him, and then he grabs a pen and starts to work over a ballot. So some voter fraud possibly going on, and I found it interesting because have you watched any of stuff with Dr. Shiva?
We invited Dr. Shiva on. He was going to come on, but things just didn't work out. I do watch a little bit of Dr. Shiva stuff, but not enough to really be more than, oh yeah, I know who Dr. Shiva is.
Right. Well, he did an interview with young Pharaoh probably about a week ago now, and he was talking about how Maryland is some of the most corrupt political sphere of any location in the United States.
Yeah, didn't Dr. Shiva feel like his own election was rigged?
Yes, and he exactly explained in the interview with young Pharaoh about exactly how the elections work. You would think that one vote equals one vote, but no, based upon demographic of the jurisdiction, including racial weight, as in WEIGHT, that has an effect on how much your vote actually counts.
Is this known, Brandon? Is this known? And if it's known, why isn't it being stopped?
Well, they're trying to stop it. Dr. Shiva, when he lost his run for Senate against the Kennedy that he was running against, he has filed a lawsuit arguing that the way that the elections are tallied electronically, that one vote does not equal one vote. It equals 0.0 something of a percent. So basically there's a whole lot that needs to be addressed. And it was really interesting to hear him talk because, the guy has 4 academic degrees and his PhD is actually in computer science.
Yeah, he's no dummy.
Knows what he's talking about. So, yeah, I think that there needs to be some major overhaul, and I would like to see that in Trump's second term for the next election, that we get a national voter holiday on election day.
I'm for that. I like that idea.
Absolutely. Everybody should get some sort of incentive pay not necessarily from the federal government for loss of wages for a day not worked, but there needs to be some sort of incentive to give everybody a federal holiday. So that way, I mean, we do it for Columbus Day, and that dude was a criminal.
What would be the downside of making it a national holiday and mandating that it has to be one that employers honor? Okay, you ready for me to start it? Get rid of Martin Luther King Day and Columbus Day. They were both bitches, and put in National Voters Day.
Exactly. And I think in-person voting should be the standard. And for those that cannot physically go to the poll and vote, then they would send out people from the Board of Elections to go physically to these addresses where people are registered and fill out the ballot right there, and then put it into a sealed envelope and have it be done right in front of everybody's face.
That's a great idea.
Yep. That way they know that who they voted for, their ballot is valid, and no more problems with voter fraud.
And Aaron in the chat room is saying that her job already gives her 3 hours of pay to go and vote. So that's the way it should be.
Right. Absolutely. I think that there are some major common sense things that we can do, and I hope that we return to an age of reason.
Absolutely, Brandon. Absolutely. You got anything else for me tonight?
No, I just wanted to call in and say everybody's been great. I love hearing from some regular people, and Mr. Akil his points were very apt, and I'm glad that we've been having great call-in shows.
Yeah, he was on spot. He was on point, and I appreciate him calling in, and I appreciate you calling in too.
Yeah, Jeff, have a great night, and I'll be here.
All right, my friend. Thanks so much. Of course, that's Brandon Hellman from the chat room. And ladies, I understand he's single. I heard a rumor that he is single. And if you're out there looking for a woke man, you know, you might consider Brandon. I think he plays a guitar, maybe. It's late night in the heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeff, Social Observer here.
Social Observer, what is happening?
Nada mucho, man. Hey, I wanted to, I guess, pick your brain about, do you know what's going on with the voter intimidation?
Which manifestation of it?
Well, there's this letter. I'd like to actually read it to you that's been going around.
Yeah, read it to me. Where did you receive it personally?
Well, I saw it on Twitter, and
okay, read it to me.
Bunch of these letters going around. All right, it says, "Dear neighbor," hold on, let me zoom in. "You have been identified by our group as being a Trump supporter. Your address has been added into our database as a target for when we attack should Trump not concede the election. We recommend that you check your home insurance policy and make sure that it's current and that it has adequate coverage for fire damage. You have been given a fair warning," in quotes. And then it says, "Always remember that it was you that started this civil war. Be prepared to face severe consequences of your preemptive actions against democracy."
And just to add on to that, today, my hometown newspaper, I had to cancel my subscription that I've had forever because my hometown newspaper, and I'm just trying to get the name of this piece of shit that wrote the article. He writes for the Miami Herald, and he wrote a piece today in the Miami Herald that the Tampa Bay Times picked up, and he said something to the effect of, and this is a columnist for the Miami Herald. For some reason, I can't find it right now, but he said that we will remember all of you that vote for Donald Trump, and we're coming for you after the election.
Yeah, supposedly there's a hit list out on people that like.
Oh, here it is. His name is Leonard Piece of Shit Pitts Jr. Leonard Piece of Shit Pitts Jr.
Yeah, there's a website where you can actually like put in your name.
And while you're talking, I'm gonna show everybody Leonard Piece of Shit Pitts Jr. so everybody can know exactly who this human filth is. And yeah, that's him right there. There's that little subhuman piece of four-eyed trash right there.
Man, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Oh, what a surprise. Look what's right above his face on his thing. BLM. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. But, you know, I'm proud of myself because I responded to him. And because he said, we'll be looking for you. And I responded to him and I said, well, guess what, Leonard? We'll be too busy making and keeping America great to worry about your sorry ass. I thought that was a good response. I felt kind of proud of myself.
Yeah, I'm to the point where the silent majority needs to be, not intimidated by these fucking scumbags, man.
Yeah, Cynthia said it best. Cynthia said, when the people that just want to be left alone get triggered, you're in trouble. And they've done it.
Oh, yeah. You're waking up the sleeping giant.
You are. And if they come to my house, they better be ready. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, we got multiple guns here, so we're not afraid to use them either.
They better be ready. We are prepared. We are trained. And shout out to Kirstie Alley for stepping up against Hollywood and coming out in support for our great president. Do you have anything to finish up with?
No, I wanted to say that I think it's the Soros operation. I really do.
Absolutely, 100%.
I think it's all these form letters, and they just have their Antifa lemmings just spreading them around all over the place.
Yep.
Whenever they see a Trump sign.
Because mass mailings aren't cheap. I worked in the business. They're not cheap.
Yeah, and did you know the letters in, I guess it's Biden, the E is 3 banners.
We talked about that last night.
Oh yeah, we did. Okay. I joined in late, so I didn't talk.
Yeah, we talked about it last night. It's the 3 banners of the Great Chinese Revolution because he's bought and paid for by China. We all know it. And I can't wait till tomorrow night because President Trump is going to bring that shit out and it's going to be dealt with. Joe Biden will have to answer before the world these Hunter Biden allegations.
You think he's actually going to show up?
Absolutely. I don't know if Joe still might not show up. I've thought about that. But if he does, Donald Trump is going to be all over his ass like white on some rice.
Hell yeah. I can't believe Kanye West and the Joe Rogan podcast got canceled because Spotify.
Oh, well, what are you going to do, man? Well, we got some people on hold. Do you have anything else to finish up with?
Election, right? What's that?
We got some other people on hold. Do you have anything else to finish up with?
Oh, no. I'm good.
Hey, great call, Social Observer. Thanks so much. Let's get to these people that are holding. I appreciate you calling in. Social Observer, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for holding. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Enough, and you know who.
Oh, it's Joe Sapiens.
Yep, I'm back. And I've got another inspiration for tonight.
You've got the floor.
Okay, so people want peace, don't they? Of course they do. So, in this world, this is a great opportunity to create with our own efforts to create the peace ourselves.
Yes.
Take matters into our own hands. We cannot sit around anymore. We cannot sit on our butts. I myself am guilty on occasion to sit around, and I recognize that this is the point in time where you must do something ourselves.
Yes.
We must do it. We must, by voting, by going out and putting in the effort to do it, to make a world safe. We may view ourselves as a grain of sand against a whole sea, but we all still have to do it. Look around, and are you the only grain of sand? I don't think so. And consider what happened at Thermopylae back in the day. The Greeks were outnumbered and, well, outgunned, perhaps, and they still the line because they knew that behind them was their whole country. It is a do or die. And that's what I gotta say.
Joe Sapiens, thank you for those great words of inspiration. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Sapiens, a great caller, a great American, a great patriot. And I can't say enough, Joe Sapiens fights through his challenges, which he's turned into opportunities, and he picks up the phone and he makes the calls. And some of you that don't have the integrity or the tenacity that Joe has, you want to sit in the chat room and troll. We're not going to let you do it. You cannot troll the chat room. You can pick up the phone and you can call, and as long as you're polite, you can say whatever you want to say. Have the balls to make the calls or shut the hell up. You can't troll the chat room. We are open for another 45 minutes. Every one of you is welcome to pick up the phone. Brother Daryl, pick up the damn phone. What's the matter with you? Aslan, pick up the phone. What's the matter with you? I know what's the matter with you. You might not be a real person, and you might be an NPC, or you might just be a yellow-bellied biatch that is great behind a keyboard, but not much else. I don't want to be an asshole, and I'm really not an asshole. I play one on YouTube. And like Cynthia told me today, she says, I can't believe, you have something happened. And, I watched that video for the first time, and the guy with the cystic fibrosis and the president calling him. And I literally broke down in tears uncontrollably. And she hugged me and says, you have such a big heart for somebody that pretends they don't have one. And that's really true. That's really me. That's really me. And I am more accessible than anybody else on YouTube. I give you the chance to call in and share your concerns. Ask your questions, make your challenges. Just be polite and just be interesting. And Joe Sapiens, you are a man among men, and we appreciate you and your great words of inspiration. And look, man, sometimes things get bad. My granddaddy used to tell me when I would complain, he said, Jeffrey, the man who had no shoes felt really, really bad till he met the man that had no feet. Somebody's always got more challenges than you are. Somebody's always had to work harder than you have. And somebody's always had to overcome more things than you've had to overcome. So instead of feeling sorry for yourself, which is a useless emotion, reroute it and do something about it. I didn't even know that was coming. It was so good. Sometimes I'm better than I know I am. It's late night in the heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. Please turn down your background and tell us what's on your mind.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, brother. Glad to call in and
chat for a minute?
I'm with you. Go ahead and give us what you got.
All right. Well, hey, whatever you want to talk about, I'm with you, brother. I've been listening for probably more than a year. So, I mean, I got so much to talk about, but I mean, appreciate, you know, your whole channel and your vibe and your knowledge that you try and spread for, you know, better future for humanity and everything.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely inspiring.
Well, if I can be any bit of inspiration in your life, that's what we're here for, and we really appreciate that. And what particular question or point did you have that you wanted to make with me tonight?
Oh, well, one, I guess you said you kind of a call in and a debate. So, I mean, I'm with you on everything else as part of, you know, blowing the whistle on controlled religion and all that stuff, mainstream and mainstream media, like. But no, I started, I guess, having, you know, my more enlightened experiences, you know, maybe almost 10 years ago, or you know, I guess around, you know, 2012, kind of cliche-ish, whatever. But yeah, it was very, very enlightening, and I guess, you know, kind of on the path of enlightenment, trying to learn all I can about everything, and came to find out, you know, a whole lot of stuff. So I started doing some digging, and because I started having the synchronicities, actually is what started slapping me in the face and woke me up to start seeing deeper into a lot of stuff.
Interesting.
And I had actually a lot of close connections in my family that were really had a lot of mystic experiences, like paranormal, you could call them, and all of that stuff. And it's been a wild journey since then. I've had a lot of confirmations and a lot of, you know, connections. Then, like I wasn't even into the social media, you know, back when, you know, and everybody was jumping on, you know, Facebook and all that social media. I was getting all of this kind of knowledge because I was really, it was hitting me in the face, and I was learning and discerning, and it's been pretty crazy. But
well, we're all on the journey, man. We're all on the journey.
Before that, too, like I grew up in so many places without, you know, the forced indoctrination of religion onto myself growing up as a child. So I was pretty fortunate to, you know, experience a bunch of different of the religions, modalities, and, you know, I had, you know, my mother who studied with some Jehovah's Witnesses for a few years, but, you know, it was never forced on us or anything. But then, you know, we moved away from that because we were moving so much. But I was actually served 5 years in the Marine Corps after I got out of high school.
Well, thank you for your service.
Honorably got out. Yeah. You know, I was there. I was like, didn't think twice. You know, after high school, they were like, well, this is, you know, you're going to prove yourself and this and that. I grew up without a father of anybody in my family who was in the military, but, you know, it's just like an opportunity I saw, and I was like, definitely not just an opportunity, but, you know, for myself, but, you know, so that my mother or, you know, my other family members who wouldn't be able to go and defend our country or whatever. So I thought I was, you know, really, you know, doing something kind of noble, but also selfish, you know, of course, better myself and then also help my country. But yeah, just like you, appreciate, you know, you for your service.
You know, if I had it to do over again, I would have gone into the Marine Corps. I spent 7 years in the Air Force, and you'll understand this. I got to AFES, and I tested real high in the ASVAB, and I was ready. We were sitting around the pool because they take you to a hotel, and the Marine recruiter came up and was trying to talk me into going into the Judge Advocate General's office. And I had the pen in my hand. I was going to sign it. There was a big enlistment bonus. Only I had to sign up for 6 years instead of 4, and I ended up staying in 7 anyway. So I kicked myself. I wish I would have gone into the Corps for the 6 years and Judge Advocate General, because I understand that's a great job rather than going to the Air Force like I did. But not everybody can be a Marine. It's the few, the proud, right?
Right. Well, I had to do a 5-year active because I had a good ass vet and I could pick any job I wanted. He told me, and so they wanted to keep me whenever I actually got stationed in Hawaii and had a really good experience. I didn't have to go to see combat, didn't have to kill nobody for the bankers,
Well, that's good, man.
I woke up after I got out. I got out, I was like, well, I want to control my own life. It's too many rules and restrictions. And
yep, same with me.
Waking up to how things are.
Well, listen, Semper Fi, brother. Thanks for calling, and don't let it be the last time, okay?
All right, definitely.
Take care, my friend. I appreciate it. I love a great veteran who served their country, and I especially like a Marine. I don't know why. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hi, Jeffrey. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha. I actually called you the other day.
I know. I remember.
And I wanted, so thanks for answering my question about LRH and Crowley. It was actually a really perfect answer. Kind of like a similar thing happened to Christianity, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I had a question for tonight. You're honestly the only one I've heard talk about the president making a deal with who you call the Lems.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can answer this question really, but I tried to read The Art of the Deal, and it was pretty verbose, and I just I can really turn me through that one. But so the question I had was, why is the Golan Heights, or that area in particular, why would the Lems care?
If you ever went to Israel and stood on the Golan Heights, you'd answer your question in a heartbeat. Literally from the Golan Heights, if I had me and 5 guys and 5 artillery pieces, I could probably hold off an army, almost literally. And if I had 5 artillery pieces on top of the Golan Heights, I could sit there and take out Israel. Boom, 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 boom. It is probably, arguably, one of the most strategically important pieces of land on the planet. So that's why it was so important to them, because they want to be able to not get blowed up, and the people that want to blow them up want it. So it was very, very important to Israel, and that's why Trump was able to use it to negotiate not only $1 billion worth of freedom for himself, but the freedom to really govern the nation without having to worry about having to answer to that group of people.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually really helpful. So just kind of military strategic.
Yeah, dude, if you saw it, if all you had to do is stand and be like, oh, I get it. It's just,
okay.
It's like, wow, it really is.
Because I know that area in particular is high tension. You have all 3 of your beloved patriarchal oppressive religions that you rail against, which I really appreciate for. And then, so it's all in the same area, right? And
and I'm not
and you always question, what are we on? Is it flat, or is it curved, or spherical, or what is this plane that we exist in? So it's maybe that's significant for some, also esoteric reason. I don't know.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. And I am not in any way against Israel. I think Israel has the right to exist now. I mean, the way things are, it is what it is. But I also believe that they have to behave according to the rules of the community of nations. And if they don't, they deserve to be smacked just like anybody and everybody else.
Cool. I appreciate that answer. Is there any other resources I could I'm a reader, so actually when you make book references and point people in certain directions. So it's always kind of
the Trump wrote a book most recently. The name of it escapes me, but that one's a little more readable than Art of the Deal. I in fact have an autographed copy of Art of the Deal, but look up his latest book in that one. And I can't remember what it's called, but it's much more readable. And I think it is, I think Art of the Deal, he had a lot of help writing it, but I think the latest book, Donald Trump probably wrote himself because it sounds more like Trump. You know, the 15 minutes I spent talking with him, and I think it's a really good book. So look it up, and that would be my recommendation if you want to read something from Donald Trump.
Cool. And you always recommend Caesar's Messiah, and then you have your own
Caesar's
body
Messiah.
of work I've been like wanting to read.
Caesar's Messiah and the Age of Reason by Thomas Paine.
Oh yeah, you did talk about it recently. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for having me. Have a great rest of your late night. So,
I appreciate it. Mahalo for calling. Have a great night.
Mahalo, man. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we roll on to another call. It's late night in the heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. Turn me down in the background. Yeah, sorry. You got to have that turned down. It blows everybody's ears. I know you were holding, but I'm sorry. You just can't do that. You just can't do that. Linda's reading Caesar's Messiah currently. It takes a minute to get through Caesar's Messiah. Joe Atwell is a brilliant guy. We need to get Joe back on. But it's people say, should I read the Bible? I wouldn't read the Bible. I would read Caesar's Messiah. I would read the Age of Reason. And then I would read the Bible if you had to. But the Bible can get you in so much trouble because it's meant to confuse you. It's meant to daze you. It's meant to twist your mind and keep you locked into a fear and guilt control matrix. Once you're able to navigate on your own, then you can see the code, but it's dangerous for neophytes. It is late night in the heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty, and you've got to turn down the background because we can't hear you.
You hear me now?
I can hear you now. Thanks so much for that.
Okay.
What's on your mind?
So you told me to call in if I had any balls, so I'm calling in. And I've never really watched you.
Okay.
Huh?
I've told a lot of people that, so tell me what in particular you want to talk about. The floor is yours.
Well, I was the one that brought up about Biff. I said you look like Biff from Back to the Future.
Okay, that's a cool story, bro.
So what I'm trying to point out is when I said everything's scripted, is they showed you that Donald Trump was going to be president in the cartoons, the Simpsons, and everything.
And
well, what do you think about all that? Do you think it's scripted or what? You think you can control that?
I think they had one episode of The Simpsons where the girl, I didn't watch The Simpsons, the girl was president. I think Trump died and she became president. So it was a rather obscure reference, but they did say that Donald Trump was president. I'll give him that. Whether the guy in Back to the Future was supposed to be Trump or not, I'll give you that. So, these guys make a ton of predictions. Every now and then they hit one right. Is it scripted? Probably it's scripted. But I'll tell you what wasn't scripted was Donald Trump to come in and arrest now in the thousands of human traffickers. It wasn't scripted for Donald Trump to come in and destroy the mainstream media. It wasn't scripted for Donald Trump to come in and bring the Treasury or the Fed under Treasury. It wasn't scripted for Donald Trump to come in and have we read from the New World Order's documents, my friend. The New World Order itself has said Donald Trump has caused the global agenda to come to a halt. That wasn't scripted. What do you say to that?
I say the whole thing's scripted.
But what about those facts I just gave you? What do you say about the World Monetary Fund and the Brookings Institute saying Donald Trump has brought the global agenda to a halt? What do you think about that?
Well, look at what did Donald Trump write?
No. I'm asking you a question. You have to answer the question. What do you think about the global agenda itself saying Donald Trump in 3.5 years has stopped us?
It's all scripted. I told you that. It's all planned.
So in other words, you've got your mind made up and you won't be confused by any facts.
Yeah, and also you talking about the Jews over there, Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So you got this president.
You realize you just didn't answer a question I asked you. You realize you dodged a question, right?
I did answer your question.
No, you said it's scripted, but you're telling me that the New World Order saying that Donald Trump has stopped them was scripted.
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't like that script?
You just don't believe it. That's all.
No, I have facts and figures and data for what I believe, and all you have is it's scripted.
Well, I got scripture to back up what I'm talking about.
Well, you got what to back up?
Scripture.
You got what to back up? Listen to the word you're saying.
What?
Script. Sure.
Scripture.
Uh-huh.
I got scripture.
You're the one that believes the script, bro.
You don't believe the Bible, then, huh?
I asked you. You said you're believing something that's called the script. Sure. Are you or are you not?
Yeah, I believe the scripture.
Okay, so you believe the script, but you're accusing me of believing the script. And you're saying it's all scripted. If you believe the scriptures, then you believe the script. It's your script.
No, it's Bible prophecy being fulfilled right in front of our eyes.
It's the script being fulfilled right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, so in the scriptures,
Yes,
it says
so
that Ashkenaz are Gentiles, not Jews.
it doesn't say that in the
scripture.
scripture. It doesn't say that in the scripture.
Genesis chapter 10, verse.
All right,
verse
this
2
guy.
to 5.
Bye-bye. No, I tried to be nice. I tried to actually talk to him, but all he wants to do. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We try. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So we gave that guy like 5 minutes. Some people just can't see. Some people just can't see. But that's okay. That's okay. We tried. We tried. And that's the way it goes, ladies and gentlemen. That's the way it goes. Should I have kept him on longer? I mean, it's just circular, just circular, just circular. It's the script. It's the script. It's the script. Dude, you just said you believe the script. Come on. Know when you're beaten and at least acknowledge the questions that you're being asked. Wow. I wish that could have worked out a little bit better, but it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is what it is. Now, Fritz Maud says everything is hearsay either way. I don't think that I agree with that. I don't think that I agree with that. The phone line's open. We've got another 27 minutes. It is 913-279-0831. 913-279-0831. He was being antagonistic. I appreciate that. All Bible prophecy you have to know, and I've proven it over and over and over and over again. All Bible prophecy ended. I wonder if this is the same person or not. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hi, Jeffrey. It's Wendy Fulton.
Hello there. Thank you for calling.
Yeah. I guess I wanted to chime in about your topic, your original topic about Christianity being more dangerous than Antifa and BLM.
Okay.
Just continuing on that. And I see your point. I believe your point because they're following the script and they want to fulfill Bible prophecy in their eyes. And so they want another war, really.
They do. And they're using, I don't have to go through everything I said, but they're using a great power of combined intention. Plus, they're able to do it from the lofty heights of supposed moral superiority that society has assigned to them. And in my mind, that makes them more dangerous than Antifa and BLM because we know they're bad, but Christianity gets to do the same stuff and do it from this ivory tower that me and all y'all and nobody else is willing to point out.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not, I still have a belief that Yeshua, the prophet that was Jewish, he had some great things to say and he had some disciples and he had people that followed him. And then he got in trouble. I mean, this Sanhedrin was okay with him preaching, but it wasn't until he turned over that money changer. I don't know how much is true and how much isn't, because those books in the new scriptures, they were written way after his death. And me being,
why do you think that was? Why do you think that was? A guy that was that amazing, that was that incredible, with that great big crucifixion and everything, living in the most literate society arguably ever, including this one. Why didn't anybody write down one word about him for like 300 years?
Well, maybe some people did, but they just didn't get published.
Maybe.
Which happens to a lot of self-publishers today that don't go the main book.
Maybe. But don't you think it's a little odd that we don't have any empirical objective data outside of the Bible to prove that Jesus ever lived? I agree, those ideas, there are some ideas that are associated with Jesus that are beautiful, lofty ideas, but I can't sign up for believing in the guy until I get some proof that's not biblical that the guy existed.
Well, I've even worked with some rabbis over the year in massage therapy, and I've kind of asked them, and a lot of them still believe that he existed. They don't believe that he was the Son of God or the Messiah.
Right.
But so I just always thought that the Jewish people thought that he was a real life person. They just don't attach any divinity to him.
Well, Tracy listens to a lot of rabbinical folks on, or at least certain rabbinical folks on YouTube, and there's a lot of the rabbis think it's just a bad story made up. Now, I'm sure that you've talked to rabbis that do think that that personage probably was real, and if he was real, I mean, it wouldn't tip over my coffee. But I have to be a guy that is a text-based guy and a evidentiary-based guy. So until I can see extra biblical evidence, I can't believe in him.
I don't know if it's my past teachings or growing up as a Jehovah's Witness that I think of that scripture about this good news of the kingdom will be preached and all the inhabit earth and a witness will come. Well, I kind of like today, I think that good news of the kingdom is that we're all sons of God, all sons of the Creator. And then once everybody knows that, we can have peace on the earth.
You know what? You might be right. And I would definitely agree with that.
And I think it was Paul trying to spin it into a religion or bring it something bigger. But Christians of that early Christians, I mean, some of them were persecuted, so something had to happen where there was a belief system going on, and that little congregations were formed after his death. There was something that sparked then that grew this movement.
Have you read Caesar's Messiah?
No, I haven't.
I would encourage you to read it. It'll give you some interesting context.
What period is that written about? Like the 300s or?
No, Caesar's Messiah is written about specifically the time frame of about AD 70 through AD 150 or so.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting.
It's an amazing book. It's a little bit of a thick book, but you would never ever regret reading it. And the author's a personal friend of mine. He's been on this channel a couple of times, and I think read it, and it gives you some context.
Was written by somebody that's alive today.
Yeah.
Okay, so then he has to take all of his materials from what he's read and he's researched.
Now you're the lady that was arguing that it's okay to read stuff that was written 300 years after a dude supposedly was alive, and now you're questioning me about a guy right now.
No, I'm just saying it's equal. I'm just saying it's equal. I'm just saying
okay.
It's equal. But I mean, in history, like in the 300s, wasn't it Constantine that had that Council of Nicaea where bishops decided which written literature would be in the Bible?
No, that's actually inaccurate. Oh, that's inaccurate. Yeah.
Okay.
But you know what? This is a great call, and this is what it looks like when intelligent people that may not agree on things are willing to talk to one another and share ideas. Maybe we come to a synthesis of both of our ideas, and we already have come to one synthesis that we believe that when everyone realizes that we are children of the Creator, then we have a chance to bring some peace on this earth. I agree with her 100% on that. So it doesn't have to be, I hate you, you hate me, you're stupid, I'm stupid. We can come to some synthesis, and we can have opinions that we're not going to agree on. And I think maybe her opinion gets a little more sharpened by my addressing it, and my opinion can be a little more sharpened by her addressing mine. And heaven forbid that one of us might say, "Ooh, that's a good point. I better check that out," and maybe change what we think. I really appreciate your call. Did you have anything else to add to it?
Just one other point is I did order
Please.
the book, The Messengers, to reread. I read that book about 15 years ago. And I did some little looking on YouTube last night, which maybe I'll send you an email about.
Okay.
About the a hypnosis session with somebody, Nick Runnick, something like that, from Portland, Oregon, about like 25 years ago or so. Anyway, it was nice chatting with you.
Absolutely. I appreciate you calling. That was a great call, and I hope to hear from you again.
Okay, bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, great calls. Keep them coming. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hi, Jeffrey. This is Svetlana Maximova.
Hello, Svetlana. So nice to hear you from you again.
I want to thank everybody. My mom's still alive, still on ventilator, and I
Good.
think the energy of everyone is actually helping. She's still alive. She lost a lot of weight, and she was actually trying to synchronize her breathing together with machine, which is a big step.
Excellent.
So, thankfully to the energy of everyone, and I think she should be able to pull it off. I mean, it's a lot of very powerful entities praying for her well-being. So
Absolutely.
and
me too.
And you too. Yes, that's what I'm calling powerful entities. So a very interesting topic about the Christianity being not a very good institution. For,
Right.
I mean, when people are brainwashed, it's a very, very, very hard thing to deal with.
Oh, so
Like for me,
much.
Yeah, for me, very first passage of the Bible when it's saying the Eve was made from the rib of Adam, that was it.
Yeah.
As a child, I was like, "Are you serious?" Just if you look at the female DNA, females have 25% more DNA. That means it's a longer story. Plus, females able to create the portal to withdraw souls from non-corporeal dimension into corporeal dimension.
Great point.
Yeah. Plus the mitochondrial DNA goes by the female bloodlines also. It's just like, it's so much stuff there. I would say 90% of Bible is not true.
I would agree with you. I'm probably a little more skeptical, but I would agree with you. Definitely, it's at least 90%.
Yeah, but I would say 10%, the one what actually resonates with you, the some passages what actually getting your soul shaking down, like you experiencing certain vibrations. It's usually from prophecies. Like a lot of people on the chat saying that it's people like if you did a remote viewing yourself, you're able to actually access future just by using those remote viewing techniques. That's how prophets were able to access this time right now and see how everything's gonna play out.
Well, I don't always agree with you, Svetlana, but I always enjoy your agreeable spirit, and you leave us with some really good information. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, we're going to continue to send great energy to your mother. Do you have anything else to share with us tonight?
Well, the people who are going to be able to leave this place, the people who did not lose their souls.
Yes.
You know?
Say that again, please.
People who are going to be able to leave this matrix we're in. People who have still connection to their real soul,
yes,
to their spirit, like Spiritus Sanctus is actually real, and it's your IQ in the spiritual realm in thousands. You're able to create whole universes just by imagining stuff.
I agree with you 100%.
You must have this connection to your own spirit.
And don't give it away for anyone or anything.
Absolutely not. Yes, it's the most valuable possession, and don't allow it to split it on parts either, because that's a very big practice over here.
Yes,
they actually created animals by splitting spirit on a smaller pieces.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's how animals have been created in this realm.
Amy says that gives her hope. She's very thankful. Brandon says it's beautiful. Christina says it's amazing. Svetlana, thank you so much for calling.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Take care, my dear. I hope to hear from you again.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Okay. I love Svetlana. What a great caller she is. And she said the people that are able to get out here are going to be the people that hold on to their soul. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. We've got about 13 minutes left.
All right. Hey, Jeff, it's Dagger calling. Just cut
my
name short instead of putting the get in front of it. But just calling about your topic of why Christianity is dangerous. It's my family. My grandpa was originally Protestant. His first wife passed away giving birth to my dad's half sister.
Oh.
And yeah, that was a long time ago. And then he married my grandma, who was Catholic. So then he obviously became Catholic. But then back then, I guess, I don't know, back then it was a little different. So my grandma was like a devout Catholic, so she wouldn't even let my grandpa see his son or his daughter. They would come later on when they moved to our house. They would come, like the daughter would come over to see him, and if my grandma was there, she would tell her to go away. And
wow,
and my dad's half brother just passed away this year at 91. So just to see like how it can break up a family, I didn't even really know my uncle. My dad used to see him a little bit here and there, but just to see, and you could just, and my grandpa was such a nice man for and I'm sure they grew up with his brothers, so his daughter and his son. But yeah, just stuff like that. It just, when you hear all those types of stories, and then when I was in Edmonton, I was dating a Mormon girl, and I remember the bishop told me a story that his son wasn't doing tithing or whatever, so all this bad stuff was happening to him because of that. And he disowned him because he wasn't going to church and doing tithing and stuff like that. So
wow, religion is a terrible thing.
It is, and then you see all these people saying all the good things, but they don't like to tell you about the things like this that happen, and other stories too that I heard from my buddy that he used to, when he was married to a Jehovah's Witness, and the stories he told me about what they did when they got divorced and stuff. It makes your blood boil, and it's just unbelievable the stuff that can happen.
But the things we don't even realize, Tracy Dyer just reminded me of this, even in the scriptures, and it's even in the red letters, Jesus himself tells you that he came to divide families.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's good. And it's so true.
Yes.
It divides. It's unbelievable. It's true. It's crazy. And then the other thing I was going to mention about the Donald Trump thing with that gentleman with the cystic fibrosis. When I was in Edmonton, I thought I did some volunteering for them, but it was another charity. But still, it's any time you can volunteer for stuff like that. I had to hold back. I was almost bawling my eyes out. That was amazing. If you say anything bad about Donald Trump after watching that video, you got something wrong with you. And I'm from Canada, and I last election, like I said, I'm like some of those people that were on the radio earlier calling in that don't want to vote. And I haven't voted in years, but this past election, I voted against Justin Trudeau just because I believed what he was doing was terrible. And unfortunately, he got unfortunately got the vote for all the people that wanted to legalize marijuana in Canada. So
that was it. Was it his that people remembered his father fondly, or it was mainly the marijuana thing?
Well, the people at West didn't remember him fondly because they were there taxing him. Like I lived out in them for 10 years, and he killed it out there with all the taxes and stuff. But yeah, he was prime minister here for a long time. But yeah, he did a lot of damage to it. Like he brought in the rights and freedoms and that, but I think that's about it. The rest of it was all because they love spending money, but they don't want it. They don't have any accountability. Just like his son's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So
that marijuana does have a big pull for people, and I'm all for medical marijuana and using hemp. So yeah, but it wasn't a great deal, Justin Trudeau. That's for sure.
No, it's not. I guess I'm a proud Canadian. It's pretty sad that we have a prime minister like this. Like
Well, hopefully you'll get a chance to vote him out soon. Do you have anything else to leave with us?
All I gotta say is I would wish we could have a prime minister like Donald Trump running in Canada here. That's all.
Listen to that, Americans. Listen to that, Americans. Thank you so much for calling. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Just one quick thing. When I got out of the military in 2001, after 9/11, I actually tried to join the U.S. military, but unfortunately I wasn't successful. I contacted the Columbus Recruiting Center, but it didn't happen. But you never know. Maybe down the road, I did take my reserves test again this past year, so you never know. I might go back in.
I did work with some of the Canadian forces, so they were good guys too. I don't know if you can join up there, but they had some good folks up there as well.
Oh yeah, I know my brother's currently serving. He's an MP in Ontario here. He's done a lot of work with the American forces. Well, he's gotten commendations from them, and
excellent.
They have like secret ceremonies and stuff where they can't divulge what they did, and they give them the medals and stuff. So
great stuff. Well, hey, nice to hear from you, and best of luck in all of your endeavors. And we'd be proud to have you in our military.
All right, thanks a lot, Jeff. Have a good night.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
I appreciate you holding. We've got just about 5 minutes left. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hi, Jeffrey. This is Tracy. Excuse me, Tracy Cooperrider, and I want to thank you for getting me hooked back up with the chat. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I went in there and found you. It's not easy, but we did it.
Well, that's why you're the Le Champion.
I appreciate that, Tracy. Besides those kind words, what else do you have for us?
Yeah, well, I was wondering if you thought that maybe the Sanhedrin was the originators of the deep state.
The originators, they definitely oversee it. They definitely are the ones that gives the approval. So yeah, I guess I'd have to say that we're the originators of the deep state, because the deep state, as you obviously know, is not just the Democrats. It's both parties in the United States, and the deep state is actually a global deep state. So, and from my studies after all these 40 years, I think it is the Sanhedrin that is in control of everything. The Sanhedrin runs the deep state. So I'd say yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, they pretty much have their tentacles into all aspects of everything.
They do. They do. And it's really amazing to me that the deep state itself has publicly stated, this is how panicked they are, that in just 3.5 years, Donald Trump was able to bring the deep state globalist agenda to a standstill. And if people could just grasp the enormity of that, I don't think there would be hardly any problems left in this world. But he has done a lot, but we need to get his back. And I don't think he's made America great again, but he has helped us and empowered us all to make America great again. And it's time for us to step up and help him keep America great.
Yeah, I agree with you. So yeah, that's been in my thoughts, and I just wanted to get confirmation on that, and I figured you'd be the the guy that would be able to provide that confirmation, since you are le champion.
Well, I agree with you. And it's not easy being le champion, but somebody's got to do it. So I guess Chris Jericho can be the le champion of entertainment and wrestling, and I'll be le champion of biblical and spiritual interpretation. Chris Jericho, watch him on AEW, on TNT. A great gentleman and the hardest working man in the entertainment business. Tracy, thanks so much for calling in. I really appreciate it.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you.
Take care, my friend. Bye-bye. Let's see if we can sneak in one more quick call. I hate to do this to you, but you only got about 4 minutes. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. If you can bring it on down quick.
Okay, this is Mother of Dragons. So I remember you saying one time that when you were talking about Apostle Paul and how he was self-proclaimed, and I forget the number. Did you say self-proclaimed 100 times and 1 time by Peter? Did that sound?
I'll have to look it up, but I believe it's
something like that.
I think it was 18 times he's called an apostle, and it's only by himself. And the only time that he was called an apostle by someone other than himself was by Peter, and he was called a false apostle.
Okay, because I couldn't remember, because I was just going to point out that as the Bible is a frozen text, only 7% of communication is words.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go to a book for that. That's definitely true.
Right. So I can say Jeff is a great YouTube host, or I can say Jeff's a great YouTube host. And
right.
I said it 2 different ways.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that maybe when Peter said that, he was like saying it like sarcastically, like
he was
our brother in Christ, or something like that.
He absolutely was.
But it doesn't translate, like the red letters, Jesus words, but it doesn't have purple letters for sarcasm.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'm a communication specialist, and I picked up on that.
You're absolutely right. You're 100% right. And I'm just trying to scan and tell you exactly how many times it was. I can't find it real quickly.
I couldn't think.
But you're exactly right, and it was very much sarcastic that he said it, and that's why he went on to show that he actually is a false apostle right there in that very passage. Thanks for pointing that out.
Ever since I was a kid, I'm like, I don't understand why everybody says the church is built on Peter, because it's clearly Paul.
It is clearly Paul.
When I realized that Christianity, Jesus never came in the first place to create Christianity, that just like was a sucker punch to my gut.
Absolutely.
Like, whoa.
And I have to say, I missed this. Robert Smith with the great $20 Super Pal chat. Thank you so much for that, Robert. I didn't mean to cut you off, but thanks to Robert for doing that.
Dude, we're out of time anyway.
We are out of time. You get the last word on Late Night in the Heartland tonight. Give us a good last word before we go.
Go with your frequency and your whatever resonates with you. Put your feelings aside. I put my feelings aside and decided to dive in no matter what I was taught or what I believed. Because if I was born Mennonite, I'd be a Mennonite. If I was born Jehovah's Witness. And if you can put your emotions aside and dig in, you'll get somewhere. Very hard to do.
That is something worth ending the show on. Thanks so much for calling. That's what you call unindoctrinate yourself, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate every single person that called, even the troll that we couldn't quite get any basis for even discussion. Thanks to all of the great moderators, Jama, Tracy, and every single one of you. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down on your way out. And please do go and subscribe to this channel. Make sure you're still subscribed to this channel, because they're very famous for unsubscribing people unknown to you. Tomorrow night, we will have the theme of call and share your doubts, your worries, your concerns about Donald Trump. And I will answer those from data and from facts and not from emotions. Many of you are very, very afraid. Many of you are very, very scared. And I think unnecessarily so. At least get all of the information before you worry yourselves to death and maybe literally. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. We've got great information on this channel. Please check it out. My thanks as always to the lovely Cynthia. We couldn't do what we do without her. And folks, this has been Late Night in the Heartland. And I sincerely want to thank you for making my day.